Bisla room reading to get to the parsa. Yeah. Okay, we'll just mention one. The Nakuda is like this. The Nakuda was that the Shada we're dealing with is that Mitzad Echad state. You can see it. None of the video.
You don't want me on the camera.
So Mitzad Echad it says it's not the Mitzad Echad it says that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin, Chacham Ayin Timatzi, and Mitzad Sheni it says that Atzilus is Gilei Helim and it's Adam Le'elyin. Adam Le'elyin, we mean to say, what's the question if it's Yesh Ma'ayin or Gilei Helim? The question is not, there's no Havamina that Atzilus is literally a Yesh. That's a Nivra, the literal musik of a Nivra, that it's a Zach which is outside of a Lakus. L'kula Alma Atzilus is Elam Ha'achtus. That's a world that in Yonim and Lakus are Nizgal in Atzilus. It's Nishkin Shaila. The Shaila is, what's the Yachas of Atzilus legabe the Ein Sof of a Lakus, legabe the Pshitas of the Eibishter, legabe the B'chin of Ein Sof of the Eibishter, Misadat means Ein Sof, Leis Machshav Tfisabit. So then there is the fact that there is in Yonim Prati Mashal Lakus Kaviyachol is Kailo. The Eibishter includes Milas, Chachme, Bina, Das, different Milas. So the question is, are these Milas a totally different Indian? Then they don't express the Ein Sof. They're not an extension of the idea of the fact that the Eibishter is Ein Sof. It's a separate Nukuda. The Eibishter is the Shleimus de Kula. So it doesn't only contain the Ma'ila of Bligvul. The Eibishter also contains the Ma'ila of Gvul. So then, according to this beer, the Atzilus, the question is not if it's Yeshmai doesn't mean that Atzilus is no Svara, that Atzilus is a Nivra, the literal sense. The Shaila is, it's a Chidush, Yeshmai in the sense that it's a Chidush. That before Atzilus didn't exist at all. In Ein Sof, there's no mocker for the B'china of Chacham. So when Neisif to the fact that he has the Maila of Blik V'la Pshitis, the Eibishter is also able to be Mailim as Pshitis, be Mailim as Ein Sof, and to be Nizgal in Gvul, to be Megala from himself, Kaviyachal Mailis of Gvul, of Chacham and Chesed, in Yanim Neflaim of Gvul. But they don't express the Blik Gvul. So the Gabi Ein Sof, the way it is Mitzad Atzmei, before Tzimtzum, before Gvul, there's no mocker at all to the Musik of Gvul. So the Musik of Gvul is this Chadesh, Yesh Ma'ayin. That's one Eifin. Or no, in the Lepel we say that Adam is Nikra Adam, and Adam the Shalah says Hashem Adam Le'elyin, that what does it mean Adam Le'elyin? That Silas is Megala the Ein Sof. It's Gilei Helim. It's not a Davar Chodesh. It means that in Chachma that Silas is Megala the Ein Sof of Elikus. And his Ma'ir that's the Lashon Atzilus Dugmas Atzilus Ruach Shemesha Shal Alayin Skeinim, that Ruach Shemesha the way it was in the Skeinim wasn't something new. It's a Hemshech, it's a Gili of the B'china of Meishavin. Avadi, you say it's Gili, it's a lower darga, the Gili is not on the same level as the Helim, but it's the same meaning, it's not a new thing. That's the Shai. So the first thing it says is that Atzilus is Adam al-El in B'chinas Ak. What's the Yichus of Adam al-El in B'chinas Ak? Because Ak is Ein Sof V'Ash'olo. That means that Ak is also Nekuda of Pshitis. Ak is not Tzir, it's not Chachma and Chesed and Gvura, but Ak is a B'china of Pshitis. But which B'china of Pshitis is it? It's a B'china of Pshitis that the Pshitis B'shteit in them, that he doesn't have the limitations of Eilumis. So if you say that he doesn't have the Akbalis of Eilumis, that means that the Metzias of Eilumis is an Indian. Yeah, this is spoke about last time. There's one Eif and you say that with the Indian of Ein Arech, of Blik Vol, that the Ein Arech B'shteit in them, that the Mashal Dibur, the Gabi Keich HaDibur, what's the Mal of Keich HaDibur, the Gabi Dibur? The Keich HaDibur is not limited. A Dibur Echad that a person speaks, there's a certain limitation. He speaks one sentence. Keich HaDibur is Yachal HaDabur Diburim Ein Ketz. He has the etz of Indian of Dibur without limits. So there you say, then there's a higher musik of Ein Sof. There's a higher level of Blik Vol where there, it's not only that it doesn't have the limitations of the Tachton. The whole Indian, he's beyond the whole Indian of the Tachton, the whole most of the Tachton. So there's then, in B'chinas Ak, the Indian of Eilam is, the Indian of Gvul is an Indian. Chacham is an Indian, Gvur is an Indian, but Chacham is limited. Chacham is Milas, the way it is limited in the Tzir of Chacham. This is limited in the Tzir of Gvura. Ak is that he's not limited in a specific Milas. So he's killing all the Milas of the Nivra, because he's not limited in a specific Milas. But what type of Milas are we dealing with? Milas, which the Gabi Shtashlis are considered Milas. Or the Mila of Ak is that he has these Shleimus without the Akbala, with in an unlimited way. Mashikid in Ein Sof, hired before the B'chin of Ak, the whole idea of Eilumis, the whole Mila of Eilumis, the whole concept of Milas, of Chacham and Chesed, it doesn't exist over there. The concept of Chacham as a Mila doesn't exist over there. That's in Ein Sof. That's in there. So Kapanim does so no, it doesn't get that free. And Ak is in Zabashol good. But Kapanim, he says is the Evan Abaychen to know if something is a Chiddush Yesh Ma'ayin, it's a Chiddush, or it's Gilei Helim, is in the way the Indian is Nimshach from the Makir. something which is Hemshech v'derech yesh ma'ayin is one eifin of Hemshech. Something which is Hemshech v'derech gilei helam is another eifin of Hemshech. So one of the chilukim is that if there's a tzimtzum between the tachton and the elyon, then that doesn't mean necessarily that it's that it's yesh ma'ayin. That could be also gilei helam. Also, there's a tzimtzum. A tzimtzum means that there's a certain yerida in the eichus inyan. Every time there's mashpah of Rav Talmud, there's an inyan of tzimtzum. Tzimtzum just means tzimtzum derech siluk is a tweede zach. Tzimtzum derech siluk, then it is an inyan of yesh ma'ayin of his chachas. But a regular tzimtzum derech miut, just means that you're lowering down the inyan so that a lower makabel is able to be taif is this inyan. So it's not another inyan. A regular ashpa, when you're always mitzamtzim between the alien to the tachten, any ashpa, any seder shtashlis, there's that tzimtzum between chacham and bina. But bina is not a chiddush to gabi chacham. It's not a new inyan. It's that inyan being nizgala on a lower level. So tzimtzum derech mid is not seiser to the inyan of gilei helam. That's behemshech to the musig of gilei helam. But parsa lechor is a stira to saying when the yachas of the titzah min hamakar is b'derech gilui min hahelim, then it shouldn't. The musik of parsa is when the ashpa has to be mishtaned, when the ashpa has to change, when the ashpa has to come to a new world which is different than the alien. Then you have to have a parsa. The mashal chassidus says you give a mashal. So a mashal, if you have a talmud which is a keli to seichel, elamai, you can't be mekabel the whole oimik the way it is by the Rav. So you have to be mitzamtzim a little bit. The seichel should be massive to the klei talmud. You don't need a mashal. A mashal you need is when you have a talmud that's b'chal not a keli to seichel. If you tell him a concept, even a watered down concept, you won't be able to understand what you're saying. You have to tell him a ma'aseh. You have to tell him a psa mashal. You have to tell him a sipur. So when do you need to have a mashal? When you want to give over the nekudas seichel to a talmud, which is on a lower caliber b'chal, he's not a keli to seichel. So then you have to be mishan. You have to give over the Indian in a different way. You can't speak the Indian kameshu. You have to give it over in a different way. You have to say a story. And through the story, you'll bring out the concept. So you have to bring over the Indian durch hashinui. So that's what if the tachton is just gilei helim, it's the same mohos, just in a lower eifin. You don't need a mashal. You don't need a parsa. A parsa you have to have, but you want to be mechase on the Indian, and you want to give over the Indian in a eifin acher the way it is in the makar. So the chod if Atzilus is gilei helim from Chinas Ak, so Atzilus is the gilei of Ak. Why does there have to be a parsa between Atzilus and Ak? So I've them entered in the Maimer that the kavanas a parsa is not for the sake of Atzilus, it's for the sake of Biyah. The parsa is taken out for Atzilus. The shaila is first of all, if it's not for Atzilus, so why does it exist before Atzilus? And this and the emes and Chassidus he brings later, I think it's in the Maimer of Yashir, but he brings later Mefurish that not only between Atzilus and Ak there's a parsa, but also between Atzilus and Biyah, there's also a parsa. So what do you need to have two parsas? The Guf Advarim that the Mashmas the way says in the Maimer is that if you bow that the whole matar of the parsas for the sake of Biyah, but Atzilus betzim is a keli to the. So I said yesterday, last time we have a mashal of Rav which is being masbel seichos of two talmidim. One talmid is not mesugal to understand the Indian side and you give him a mashal. The other talmid can understand the Indian only through a mashal, and the Rav is speaking to both b'shavah and he gives a mashal. So you're not going to say the Talmud which is mesugal to understand the seichel of the Indian. You're not going to say that he now is makabel the Indian idei mashal. Even though the Rav said a mashal, but since he's able to understand the concept, so the mashal won't be ma'alim the gaviyah. So that's the lashon he says in the Maimer over here is even though there's a parsa between Ak and Atzilis, but the parsa is not ma'alim. It's not a stira to the fact that Atzilis is gilei helim, because the gabi Atzilis the is not mishtan. Because Atzilis is makabel the way it's mufshit from the parsa. There's a parsa that's for biyah. But the shayla is good, so then put the biyah between Atzilus. And there is that parsa between Atzilus and biyah. What's up, Naman Tzvei Parsais? See, that's not mamish negeh here. The Elam hurt. See, this is a bissel mevalvel. That's it. Good. Huh? Good. So the mekude is that. So the beer that they say is another word. I should put over a mic, but then they don't. Yamod one zeke and shkalam. Huh? Good. But upon him, it's not going to be full every night. It's only Hachodesh Cheshvan abis. Yeah. So it's ein stille Zeiten. Don't worry. Yeah. Upon him, but the Nekudah learns like this. That so the Nekudah is that they say like this. Even up the pashas you can understand it with a regular mashal. If the Rav, in order to give a mashal on an Indian. So there's two things. First of all, when Moshas Etzmeir the emek of the Svaras Rav. Before tzimtzum, you can't give a mashal either. In order to give, only when the svarid is not mayor the take of emek asvara, then say you can explain it to Talmud Yisr with the Yisr cut, and you're able to be masber a little bit the svarid if mitzumtzum, and then you could also be malbish a seichel and a mashal. In order to be malbish the svarid and a mashal, it's only when the svarid is not in its element kaviyach. Then you're able to be masber the svarid and a mashal. But b'shas by the Rav is mayor the emek asvara. So he's mufshit from a mashal. So that's b'chal state. In order to give a mashal, it's only when the svara is betzimtzum you're able to give a mashal. But besides that, in order to give a mashal, the Rav has to be in a darga that he's makir, that there's a metzias outside of seichel. B'shas it's meir emek seichel, so the seichel is in its fullest, in its own element. Then it's not shaykhs to be malbishir in a mashal. In order to be malbishir seichel in a mashal, that means to be able to be megal the seichel through a levush, which is in ganzen nifras from Indian seichel, which is zar from Indian seichel. It's only after the seichel already there's a tfisas makim in the seichel to metzias which is not seichel. Calls man it's meir the ganze reinkheit from the Indian seichel, so it's the seichel is not shaykhs that it should be malbishir in a mashal. You know, I'm choshev for it in Nevraim. It's hard to. The only thing we see in Nevraim is that b'shas by the Rav is meir the emek asvara. He can't be mabashir in a mashal. In order to give a mashal, first he has to be able to be mitzamsim the svara. It shouldn't be meir the whole emek of the svara. And then when the svara is a little bit diluted, so lachnish take of advarim, so you're able to be masber through a mashal. Saying, but to give mashalim, it has to be. It's just a pashta dugma. We say. Stam, this dugma is used for other things, but just if someone went through something that's mamish a godel b'yes, a big simcha or a hepech simcha, something a very. So b'shas he's b'teich the experience of the Indian and the take of the Indian. He can't start giving examples that what I experience is b'dugmas that thing. B'shas this Indian is mer b'chol teikfei. There's nothing which is a dugma for it. If you're able to experience what this person went through, he's able to share with you. But if I give you dugmais, b'shas it's mer the take of the Indian. There's no nessim to say that thing is al derech this thing. When can you start bringing mishalim and to say that even though he didn't experience this thing itself, but if you know that it's al derech this Indian, that's when this Indian is not married with its whole takeif. Then he's able to give space to that even if you didn't experience this Indian itself, if you know that you're able to have an experience of this Indian. You understand what I'm saying? In order to be masber a mashal, it has to be that the svara is nice in makim, and it can nemedim Indian. Not with the even though the whole take of Indian is not made. That's the parts of lifnei atzimtzum, lifnei ak is not a mashal yet. The parts of lifnei ak, the parts of lifnei ak and atzilus is since atzilus of kosof, he has the tafkid of being mashpia and being mahav and nivraim. So even that atzilus itself is not a nivra. But in order for atzilus to be a makir, so atzilus himself has to be a zad dargah. The svara has to be in a state which he'll be able to be established in a mashal. We're not dealing now with being mabashir in a mashal. In order for the svara to be shaykhs to be established in a mashal, there cannot be. It has to be that the svara already is able to be seifel on a kudah which is not seichel b'tarasa. Kozman in the svara is the way it's nevia from elam seichel without any tfisas makim. Tamsis which is not seichel, he can be established in a mashal. So before you're being mabashir seichel in a mashal, the svara has to be in a state that it's nice in makim tamsis which is not seichel. That's the part of Ak and Atzilus. Since Atzilus of Kosaf is going to be the Mahav of Nevraim, Atzilus can't be a makir for Nevraim if the Eira Laki, the way it is in Atzilus, is not makir the musig of not a lukus, of Nivra. He's not a Nivra yet. He's not the Svar of the Veitz in Atzilus is not a Lubish Namashal. But the Svar of the Veitz in Atzilus is nice in makim to Nakud of a Mashal. That's the. Yeah, it's not they're nice enough in the memory. If I state b'chol the Indian. What do you mean the third darga? Yeah, there's the svara in a mashal, then there's the svara not in a mashal, but the svara is snish agefrekt mekenem mabazan in a mashal. That's what it is. There's this b'shas it's meir the whole take of a svara. It's meir edet levadi. You say be masber l'kuza someone which by him, which is b'chal not. You say you have someone that b'chal doesn't believe in Torah, doesn't believe in Torah Shabbat Peh. So you have to explain him now the music of Torah Shabbat Peh to someone who was gleiptish to them. That's a whole different thing. So if b'shas b'emes says meir take a amuna, that's what he mean. Everything is nitl meshim misinai. He can't even speak to the other person. In order to speak to the other person, you have to be nice and makim tzazam esatzvar, and then you'll find ways to explain to him even on his level. But b'shas b'yu is meir to take a fatvarim that what do you mean? The same way teresh uksav teresh b'apeh is both given meshim misinai. V'snish kenen reidim etem b'chal. So in order to be mabish the svara in a mashal, the svara already has to be in a state where there's a musig of not seichel. He's makir the fact that there is sfran maisis and sfran menshim as b'chal aren't even aware of the musig of seichel, and then he's able to be misyachis to them and to be mislabish in a mashal. But even before they establish in a mashal, the svara has to be misugel to be mislabish in a mashal. Yeah, that's not from Merbir, but that's Bechlal is the. That's why you need a Ak is not the is not the mucker for the Savas of Elam Abri. Ak is the nicer for those Seder Shtashtas. Atzilus is a mucker for Bia. Since Atzilus is a mucker for Bia, so in order for Atzilus to be a mucker for Bia, in Atzilus Gufa is Dafshin Zayin and Sinas Makim, that Bia is not Agafret. He's not a Nivra. But the Svara has to be an Azam Asert Eifen that is able to be Seivil on a Kudu which is not Tachtas HaSev.
The fact that
It's not. That's different. It's not. That's not in Kudu. That's a different thing. That's the Yuli for everything. Ak is that Al Kudu is not Mugder can outside, but not. So then you don't have the Indian mitzad the Indian itself. Ak is not a mocker for the mitzias of Bria als Bria itself. Als the fact that Al Kudu is Pasha. It's another Indian. Ak is not Kela Bria als because he's in the level of Bria. Ak is mufshit. Mitzad pshitas can outside. I was saying the other day in the Mashal Kei Chazrika. So you can't angles Velnish Kumen from the Kei Chazrika. See, you're saying that he's not mugbal in that. And I'm saying is you say a dibur echad. One dibur is blikvul. One dibur is not blikvul. The Kei Echad dibur is blikvul, but mainly he has one dibur. So you have the one dibur the way it's neveim said Kei Echad dibur. It's this blikvul. Then there is a darga which is the chshivas of one dibur. So not the Bria is not pshitis. Bria is a world that that the Elam has. A cheer is a cheer. Ak is not a cheer. Ak is pshitis. Pshitis can outside. Can ech zayin abein kolechet. But a cheer is not pshitis. A cheer is just the mitzvah of a cheer. So who's the mucker that there should be a mitzvah of a davar mugbal? Al davar mugbal, that the mucker is atzilus. In order for atzilus to be a mucker liyesh, even though he himself is not yesh, but to be a mucker liyesh, that itself has to go through a person. He has to be in a eifen that the musig of yesh is not in ganzen mushlo. So the seichel has to go through a shlav that he's aware of the fact that there's something which is not seichel. A gewisser hefsik. If someone is nischanech, let's say, when der Vistach came on this, that there's Yidden that don't believe in Teresh Vapeh. But there's kind of reading it. I'm saying he has to go through a parsha that there are people that don't believe in this, and to find a way to be able to be masber the emes for them also. I'm saying that's nishmas haltish thereby. He's not in their level. But in order to explain the Amitas Se'inyan even to someone in Bachutz, you have to relate to the person in Bachutz. That the Seichel has to, let's say a little bit more Bamchoshe. Means the Rav has to relate to the Talmud, which is Bechutz Le'elam HaSeichel. And that, in order to relate to that Inyan, that's already a parsa. The second parsa is to not only to relate to him, but to be Mabash Svara and Amashal, the slapshas itself. But even before the slapshas and Amashal, he has to relate to that type of Mitzias of Amashal and Amashal. Yeah, that's the emes, and that's in the mimer of this prat. He's not asking to explain this here. He just says that the parsonage is not for. But this etzem inyan that's explained in the mimer Oz Yasher. You learned the Hemshech, yeah? You learned there's a mimer Oz Yasher. There is chukas in Oz Yasher Yisrael. Yeah, there is ma'ilech more by Riches the prat etzem sumim. So there's Huh? Come on. I never read it. Which man I'm talking about? Oz Yashi, I'm looking. It's Oz Yashi Yisrael Li Be'er Enola. So there.
There's a certain mile in the fact that you could have had a shame, you know?
Good, there's a mayam retish again. If you look in Shin Pei Aleph in the Nusam above, you'll see. He says he's Meirich over there. You look in he's a Meirich, but the etzem asaga sarav atzmei gam in begeder ashpa because it seems to me. He's Meirich. There's 3 minutes in Sumim. To see in that Maimer, Darton is more. So this musik before Atzilus is Mahavabiyah, in order to be Mahavabiyah, so Atzilus has to be at that darga from Elokus, which is not Sheilu Legamri Amatzis. If it's Meir Ered Lavadi in a way that there's no, so how could it be Mahavabiyah? Even if the Eid is mitzumtzim, but to be nice and makim liyesh, so it has to be a nekuda that there's already a nekuda of hefsek between Atzilus and the makim. that's already a person. Nicht was he's Atzilus is a lakus, not yesh, but it's a lakus which is not shayla legamri and nekuda, which is a mitzvah of a nivra. And for that itself, you have to go through a person. Yeah, this is a good, but I'm saying the arich is not here. It's in Reish Pezayin. It should be. I'm saying there's a.
Why is one person not enough?
No, then there's the slapshus of mashal l'poil. The person that's akin is not this slapshus in the mashal. It's not a mashal. It's a hefsik for Atzilus to be aware of the fact that there's a musik of a mashal. Not that the svar is mislabish on a mashal. Before you're mabash to seichel on a mashal, you have the svar itself. In order for the svar to be mislabish on a mashal, the svar has to be in a way that there's a certain yitzir from the etzem in seichel. That nish seichel is not mufrich. He has to be introduced. There's something called not seichel. Mitzad etzem seichel, mitzad the svara, the way it is, mitzad seichel itself, there's seichel. Nish seichel existiert nicht b'chal. So he's not makar mitzvahs of not seichel. So there's no afsharis to be established in a mashal. In order for the svara to be begader b'chatim established in a mashal, the svara has to already have a nekuda in zich that there's a mitzvahs outside of seichel, and it's nish agefek by him. And then there could be the establishment of mashal l'poil. In order for the svar to be in that matzav, that's already a person. That's already a hefsik. It means there's a nekuda hefsik between Atzilus and Ak. In Ak is Meir the pshitas of a lakus. In Atzilus also pshitas of a lakus. But the pshitas of a lakus in a way that mekenes masber zayin imitzer, which is not a lakus. How could you masber to a biyah which is not a lakus? Because Atzilus can understand that there's something outside of a lakus. That already is a person. The fact that Atzilus can understand that there's a mitzias which is not a lakus, that's because there's a hefsik between Atzilus and Ak. There's a good of a hefsek. It's not a it's a different beer of a. Yeah, but yeah. No. It's not a symptom. It's a say by seichel arav. It's not. It's in the chsilik is there should be the mitzias of nivra. Here you need to have the parsa is in order for the seichel. You're saying you have someone that his Indian is to have vikuchim dort mit andere amunas. So if he doesn't know of anything of a kenenish, he's sitting in the bismedr shul. Let's say damash toshiv, but it's not in order to be a mocker for the apikoris. As the vision bismedr is entailed to the apikoris. That's parsa. Since the chsilik is in Yoni is helim, lahalim aloer. Here in Yoni is not helim. In Yoni is that the seichel harav should be neslabish and a lavush, which is not like seichel harav. It's always it's hashpah. That's parsa is different than Simson Derech. Sin asmakim tzazach was nicht lukus. It does. He's talking about yesh bia. There's a hefsik between Atzilus is that he's not mitzayer. It wasn't the parsa. It's like the Atzilus is makir a mitzias, which is not a lukus b'taras. Okay, there's no zam b'shteim. Good. Lomer zayin the omni yishlemer. Yeah, we read inside. Lama zend the omni mishleim. Huh? Okay, let's learn the Maimer. I'm saying. I'm saying so, you learn if you. It's nicht a ganz besondere Indian. If you learn the Maimer, you should. Good, okay. I'm saying so. The guys, I'm versteht ein bisschen the Gufa Maimer is kann man schon nehmen, was we'll see what's negate to the Gufin. Gut, man schon sehen, what's negate to the Gufin. Amir Shleim. גם לגבי הקו ונמשך מאיר אינסוף. גם לגבי הקו ונמשך מאיר אינסוף שלא מעלו מבחינת אק. Oh, so here says a ufti. So here what we're saying till now, this is a very important point. What we're saying till now is that Atzilus is not a dam le'eldian tam. Legabi amitas einsof. Legabi eir einsof, amitas einsof. Atzilus is yesh ma'ayin. It's a chidush gomer. And the fact you say Atzilus dam le'eldian is legabi adam kadm. So when he says here, omni mishleim, the gam legabi akav ונמשך מאיר אינסוף שלא מעלו מבחינת אק. Gam legabei b'china zu sheichel mit tzilus b'china sedam le'elgin. He's not just saying. It's not the uft over here is not just we're saying a higher level. Till now we said that it's sedam le'elgin only for ak. Now we're adding not only ak, even a level higher than ak. Even the kav, which is higher than ak. It's not a question of a higher level. It's a whole new Indian. Kav legabei ak is another Indian against. Because Adam, the haschol of the Indian of Shiur is in the beginning of Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmon is the first Shiur. The Adam HaKadmon. That means the Moked Achir Rishon to the Musik of Seder Shtalshalos is Ak. So in other, even we were saying last time that Ak is, that in Vas Bashtet is Pshitis. It's Nefesh Neise Keiches. So Darga Pshitis. We're not dealing with Tzir. We're dealing with the fact that Al-Kus is Mufshit, and therefore there can be Tzir. But Ava became, in Vas Bashtet the Pshitis. In other words, the Maila is, or as I was saying before we get this, you have to remember very clearly. In Ak, you're saying the Maila is Adam. The Maila is Tzir. The Maila is Chochmeh, Chesed, Gura, the Feres. Mailas, which in Seder Shalshos are considered Mailas. Now, in Seder Shalshos, Chochmeh is only Chochmeh. Bina is only Bina. Adam Kadman is, because the Eibusher is not Mugbal, so he's Kailal all Mailas. See, the Eibusher is not Mugbal in any specific Shlemus, therefore he's Kailal any Shlemus. But what type of Shlemus are we dealing with in Adam Kadman? The Shlemus of Tzir. Not Shlemus that wasn't as gal in Seder Shalshos. The Seder Shalshos is a certain framework of what's considered Shlemus. What's to understand the beer in them? From Chabad, Chagas, and Nehi. Adam Kadman is, in Vas Bashtet, that's the Lukas Nishn Mugbal. We're not Mugbal in a specific Shlemus. B'meila can alt sein. What's alt? These inyanim. Means, Mash'enken, we're speaking about Amitas Ein Sof. In order to say the Musik of Adam Kadman, that's only after Tzin Tzim. If Tzin Tzim was Machadesh, the Musik of Eilumis. There's a Musik of Seder Shalshos. There's Chochmeh, there's Chesed. There's a Musik. Sfana Azam is Zach was said Anguru from Chochmeh Chesed. And then only after that you can say that in Vas Bashtet, the Pshitis of Alakus, that he's not Mugman in a specific Maila can out sein. Mash'egen Lifnei at Tzimtzum, the Eibusher Mitzad himself is Ein Sof. At least Ein Sof, there's no Chochmeh, there's no Chesed, there's no concepts outside of Ein Sof. Tachas Ein Sof, there's no concept of any Inyanim B'chlal. And not only, and it's Blig Vul Mereima from the Musig of Mailas. Not only Blig, it's Nishtaz Azach, Adam Kadman is a Bria. We're in Hachodesh, Mitzat Tzimtzum, and it's Hachodesh geworden together of Metzias, of Eilumis. The Mailas of Eilumis. Mashiach said, Lifnei Tzimtzum, Mitzat Ein Sof, it's Nishtaz Azach, there's no such a concept. So when you say, so Atzilis is Tzir, Chochmeh, Chesed. If you say Atzilis is Megala Adam Kadman, it's Megala the Pshitis of Alakus, that's Kama Fashtein. When you say that Atzilis is Adam Malel into Kav is Ein Sof. The Nukud of Eir is not the Makar for Bria. Eir is the spashas of the Etzim, the Gilei Etzim. What's the Etzim? The Etzim is Ein Sof. The Etzim is the Eibusher himself. The way it's mufshit from Tzir. So Kav is the Gilei of Ein Sof. Achar Etzim, whatever the Biyurim are, but Kav is Eir. Eir is the Gilei Amar. Not the way the Makar is a Makar for a Metzias. The Gilei of the Mar. So if you say that Atzilis is Adam Alel into Kav, to Eir Kav, you're saying that Atzilis, through Atzilis is expressed the ultimate Pshitis in Ein Sof of Alakus. That's a whole different type of Chiddush. Versteht die meaning? That's another certain. It's not Shemit. That's something else. That's Bechlal. That's even that's another union. So he said this. Shtem the gam the gabe Kavim Hemshech Meir in Sof. Shul Ma'il Mimchinas Ak. Gam the gabe Mimchinas Zu Shayach Lemet Haz Mimchinas Adam Alad. Ay bazay. If you're saying that even legabe in Sof Shul Ma'il Metzins. Even legabe Kav. I'm sorry, not even legabe Kav. Atzilis Adam Alad. So lepoil shtedach v'achochem me'ayin timotze. Mashnikar yesh ma'ayin zol legabe atzvus in Sof Shul Ma'il Me'akav. So now we're saying there's two dargis, or this is not two dargis. Kav, you have to remember always, Kav is not a makar leilumis. The makar to Metzias is Keich HaGvul, Tzimtzum, you have the Reshimu, you have Keil, that's a makar for Metzias, for Gvul, for Malas of Seder Shalshos. Kav is Er means the Gili Amor. Not a makar for a Metzias, which is not the Mor. Kav is the Gili of the Mor. The Mor is Ein Seif. The Mor is the Etzem, which is Ein Seif. Kav is the Gili Amor. In Eir itself, there's two dargis. There's the Atzmus Eir, which the Gabi that, the Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin Mamish. And the Gabi Kav, which is Gili Amor. The Gabi Kav, it's Gili Helm. That's not Moshe Vashtain. We're not dealing with L'chor. If Kav is Eir, the whole Agdor of Eir is, if it's not this Pashtas, the whole, what's the difference between Eir and Shefa usually? Shefa is that Rav is not, when the Rav is being Masber Seichot HaTalmid, he's not venting, he's not being mispashet. It's not that whatever the etzem is, shteit bezgalus. He's lowering himself down. He's being malbish the seichel. The behesim to the seichel atam. That's not er. That's not a spasha somewhere. Er means that the etzem kameshu is mispasha. He's whatever he is naturally, he's projecting. He's being nisgal. So kav is er, and er is mein amar. So kav is mein the atzmas in itself. So if it says gilei helim to a kav, how can it be yesh ma'ayin legav atzmas in itself? That's the chodesh stirim in Eibei. If it's gilei helim to kav means that through Atzilis is expressed the Ein Sof of Er, and kav is mein amar to the etzem. So how can it be that Atzilis is yesh ma'ayin mamish the gabi the etzem? He's going to speak about it. Yeah, I'm saying that. But he's going to start. He says like this. Yeah. So he says to explain this. The first arichis is Meirich. The second eifin starts in Adam Kiyakir. He goes arichis the first eifin. Adam Kiyakir. Reish Nun Ches. Yeah, calls the Hashgir the Mashachas come. Yeah, is Vizapidas of Hachodesh, and then but Reva Drushim and there, and the paragraph starts page Reish Nun Ches. The calls it. Oh, so Yisrael is a fun. So here he brings two shittas legabe erakav. So like this. The former mavur dakav am shach shebchanas gvulamida. Means there's two shittas. Was wird gebracht in Chassidus. What's the that brings sich in Kisvei Arizal that Kedem at Tzimtzum was Ein Sof Amala Makom Achol. It was Ein Sof. Then there was the Tzimtzum, which is the Makar for Gvul, for Eilumis. And then after Tzimtzum, Chazar V'Heyer, the Erakav. So that's Chassidus Mazra always. The Chazar V'Heyer, it's Lifnei Tzimtzum was this Pashas of Ein Sof. Tzimtzum is the Makar for Bria. What's the Erakav? Erakav is that Chazar V'Heyer, the Ershel Lifnei Tzimtzum. That's the Erakav. It's not the Erakav is that it was Nimshach something which is the Fi'er L'Chayilim. Chazar V'Heyer, the in Sof, the Tnu of was Meir in Welt. But there's two shittas, what's the Agdar of Erakav? So there's one shitta is the Kav is Avshar B'chinas Gulamida. It's one Avshar, one in. Where is it? The Kav is Avshar B'chinas Gulamida. That means that Kav is the Ratchila Erakav. It's not the Erakav is Blik Vo. And then Mitzad Kelim, let's say. It comes back Bala. The Ratchila Erakav is a which is Nimshach B'chinas Gulamida. The Chatchila, it's a Gilu which is Shaykhas to Gvul. We'll have to see what that's one shot. We'll see the Prat. It brings it this. Where is it? From before that Kavah Amshach Shchinas Gvul Midik. Which because of Teira Batesis Vir Devilu V'Shmalchus, she has based Mini Amshachis Me'erin Sof Baruch. Two types of Amshachis. It means that Pashas it means there's Erin Sof, and there's two Eifanim how Erin Sof is Nimshach, expresses himself. That's the Parshas Mashmos. Yesh based Mini Amshachis, you have Erin Sof. How is it Nimshach? Wie wird das Gala Erin Sof? In what's Parat Tnua is in Nimshach and Gala. There's two different sugim, Eifanim of how this in Sof is Gala. We'll see because the next memory is a little blame Nishta in the next one. It's saying Parshas Avana here. What's with based Mini Amshachis? You have one Inyan. Place you have just to bring this dogma. It's not nothing to do. I'm just saying the dogma. The Chassidus says that you have the Svar of Yitzchak Adam Ram and Urav. So that's the Svara Klolis. From this Svara you could say B'Meila we should have Rachmanas on him, or Fakert you should. So there's no need for it. So you say this Svara could bring within itself could be expressed in two different ways. It's not two different Svaras. Ein Svara it could be expressed. So out there they say that there's one Ein Sof. Ein Sof is Ein Sof. There's two Eifanim how Ein Sof can be expressed. That's the Mashmos. Beis Mini Amshachis. There's one Amshacha is Dr. Azir. Hainu one Ha'alif. We'll see later because the next time was a real uftan is that it's not stamped. There's the kud of Erin Sof and two Eifan and V Ein Sof is Nimshach. Lechatchila it's two in Yonim and Ein Sof Gufa. In Ein Sof Gufa there's two in Yonim. It's not that there's Erin Sof and there's two Eifanim. V Er Zok Tzachareis how he's Nimshach, how he expresses himself. Lechatchila there's two in Yonim and Ein Sof. But Leisata we're learning that it's two mini Amshachis Meir Ein Sof. But then it's was sagt ein ha'alef im Ein Sof mamish. The first one is was as the Herzach Ein Sof. And das versteht der Eibischter ist Ein Sof. B'shas is Nimshach and he's Nirgash. When he's Nirgash in Eilumis, what's Nirgash? Ein Sof. Blikvul. Ein Sof mamish. V'hainu am shach b'chinas l'shav edum adano emlich. Zeh b'chinas machas Ein Sof. Shu b'chinas siv v'makav hakol kol seish ta'ashalis. So that's the b'chinas of ano emlich. There is ano emlich the way it is achal tzimtzum. The sphere of Malchus. So Machas Acharat Tzimtzum in Atzilis is Pashat Ano Emlich to be a Melech. But then the Chassidus says there's musik of Malchus Lifnei Tzimtzum. The musik of Machshav Akduma Ano Emlich. The Machshav Akduma Ano Emlich is same way a Melech is Merema Mibsnasi. He's higher than the whole Am. Al Derech Ze Ein Sof is moved al Gamri from the whole gather of Elamis. See, so in other, it's Meir. What's the Amshach? The first Amshach of Ein Sof. The Eibush has Ein Sof Mamish. and all Elamis are Batla B'Mtzias. They don't exist. That's the pchin of Malchus Shalifnei Tzimtzum. Malchus La'achar Tzimtzum is the Mtzias of Elamis, and the Eibusher is Shelit Aliyim. He's their melech. When I'm saying the Malchus B'Shershi and Machshava Gduma Dona Emlech Shlifnei Tzimtzum is masber over here. The musik of Malchus is that the Eibusher is Ein Sav B'Tachlis, and the Nivr and everything else and all other concepts are Batla B'Mtzias. They don't exist. He's Ein Sav Mamish. You'll see the other Hemshech. So Gvul Vert is Bata. There's no Mtzias of Gvul. He's Ein Sav, and so Gvul is Batla. It doesn't exist. It's Batla B'Mtzias. He says, "From wann entstammt das Tag this Hemshech that it's nirgash that the Eibusher is Ein Sof and Arts is bottle. He shaded everything. Wann entstammt das Gilui? It's clear she's opening as Gilui Eratzmus. Al Kain Bar opening as Famish. Since the Indian of this is the mechuvan of this is as a cherem der etzem. So opening as Gilui Eratzmus. The first Hemshech of Ein Sof is that it's the Gilui of the etzem's ispashtus. Mitzad the etzem of Elokus is leis machshav tzisabi, is ein sof mamish. There's no concept of chachma, there's no concept of gvul, there's no concept of elamis. Alles is battle mitzias. B'shas the herzach der ein sof, vert alles is battle. So this pchin of which inyani is, it should be meir the etzem, is also cherem der etzem, is alles battle. So that's it's ein sof and everything's battle. Akein bar pchin is of mamish. Say order zu meir gam kishach achar etzimtzum. And that taki can be meir but pnimius and elamis. Elamis a gdavar mugbo. Elamis is gvul. So la'achar that since we have a mitzvah of elamis gvul, it's kenish meir than bepnimius this because this is Ein Sof. Ein Sof kenish meir than bepnimius involved. Ein Sof which is sheilel gvul. It's herzach that the Eibusher himself is leis l'shav tzisabi gvul's bottle. So this is near b'chinas makif. El sha'ar azui if you eifim b'chinas atzmis in such different tzimtzum. V'hainish kam la'achar tzimtzum b'chinas Ein Sof. V'lochin b'chinas makif is sevel b'vad elamis. B'chinas primi you have shaliyas. Kim b'chinas makif. He always bevadish ends up b'chinas eratzmus mamish ends up b'chinas tzimtzum. Kim b'chinas makif. Kim b'chinas essential b'vad. Okay, this is also is not ma'arich in this maimer. Saying we say he wants to bring out that the same way lifnei tzimtzum. There's shnei mini Hemshechis. So there's too many Hemshechis. Lifnei tzimtzum there's too many Hemshechis. There's ein sof, and lifnei tzimtzum there's two efanim how this ein sof is nisgal. And from dort nevert nimshat la'achar tzimtzum there's two efanim that Elokus is meir and elamis. So there's Seviv and Memali. So Memali is the direct of Elokus is meir of B'chinas Pnimi, and Seviv is Elokus is meir of B'chinas Makif. But what the Nivra is Margish of B'chinas Makif. So the fact that the Nivra is Margish of B'chinas Makif is ve'ein arech to the Shadish of Seviv Lifnei Tzimtzum. The Shadish of Seviv Lifnei Tzimtzum is beyond the Mechad that Nivra should be Makif. It's Amidas Ein Sof. The Ein Sof, the way it's meir la'achar Tzimtzum is B'chinas Seviv, which is meir la'achar Tzimtzum is Sof Kosof. It's Nirgash Ne'elamis. It's B'chinas Makif Ale'elamis. Just a push the word. Just say the mashal gabi nes. He's going to say later in the Maimer that nes is behemshech to this type of error. So you say the mashal, what happens by a nes? The world has a certain structure. When a nes happens, the structure is cancelled. Where's the shadish that the structure inside? Because the Eibusher is blig vul. Blig vul is shelo gvul. It's not mugbul. And Gvul is not a Metzias legabe him. Gvul is bein arichtim. So b'shas is meir bli Gvul, vert is battle Gvul. From wann entstammt das? Because mitzad the pchin of which in Yoni is legalis ha'etzim, the etzim is mufshat legabe from Metzias. So b'shas the herzach, the ha'etzim is stuck in Gvul. But how is the tnu of this pchin of Ein Sof Mamish, how is it meir lachar etzimtzum? That the Gvul is his battle. Legabe the inyan the way he's living at Tzimtzum, it's not only the Gvul is his battle. Lechatchila there's no concept of Gvul. Lechatchila is only the Ein Sof. So the Ein Sof, the way is meir la'achar tzimtzum, is the b'chinas yirida and b'chinas chitzenius. The gabi the inyan the way is living at Tzimtzum. Because the way the bli Gvul is nirgash and velt is there's Gvul, and the Gvul is broken through the bli Gvul. It's nisbatel through the bli Gvul. Legabi the inyan the way is living at Tzimtzum, there is lechatchila no concept of Gvul. So the bli Gvul is not expressed in them that Gvul vert nisbatel. So that's what he says here, that Seviv la'achar tzimtzum, which is meir b'chinas makif al elamis. B'chinas makif means that it's nirgash and velt, as is an garnish that they're not a mitzias, that they're bottled, that they're bein arich telekos. That's mitzad der era bligvul. Seviv is not the the way is misamtzim that it should be understood to elamis. You have one eifin is the elukus is misgal in a way that the nivra is able to understand the elukus. You have elukus is Ein Sof, and what is the nivra margash as a meir Ein Sof? The nivra is margish that he's be'en arich. That there's no smoking for his mitzias. That gvul is be'en arich to the blik. So that's the way Ein Sof. That's a order of Chinas Makif. Not that the nivra is versteht es with pnimis. If I care, his margish is in the rech. His margish that is bottled legabe this earth. But lepoil legabe, but lepoil vi is a margish that his margish is in there. His margish that is bottled. The mitzvah in the rech is that lechatchili doesn't exist. That in kenish meir by saving. So saving is the chitzenius of the Ershel Lefnetzim. But it's the same tenuah. The tenuah is not the lukus is mizgal in a way. Behesim to how much the nivra is able to be masig. It's the lukus is meir kamei the way he is bli gvul. B'shas lukus is meir kamei so gvul is bottle. Gvul verteis. He says there's dargis in it. I'm saying, but the mahus is one mahus. The mahus is not that we're made in a way that we're mischashiv and behesim to the how much the Mekabel is able to be Mekabel. The Nekudah is also chenet that etzem is mufshit and be'ein arich tevel. In the ein arich of the etzem to mitzias, in the ein arich of ein sof to gvul, there's many dargis. There's the way it is in the ein sof shlifn and tzitzum mamish, and the way it's nirgish lachar tzitzum. But the Nekudah is one Nekudah. The Nekudah is shlil some mitzias. The Nekudah is not mugbal mitzias. Hecher from mitzias. So it's one mahus. The question is, in vas farefin is meir der mahus. So there's dargis. But the Nekudah is one mahus of shlil some mitzias. Bittul agvul, bittul agdar, bittul mitzias. He says, "Hachodesh we come kamash meir la'achar tzimtzum." And la'achar tzimtzum, what's that? It's meir la'achar tzimtzum. It's meir la'achar tzimtzum means that it's meir and it's nirgash in welt. But l'chorah it's the hecher from welt. So it's b'chinas makif. What's b'chinas makif? That it's the nivra is not margish. The nivra is margish is a davar hamereimim v'niskav shalei lefi erech mitzvah. That's b'chinas makif. But meile veter in his bata. His margish is someone standing in front of a chacham gadol. Versteht nicht, someone's in front of the Rogat Shavar. He doesn't understand, but he's margish that this person is be'en arichtin. He has no tfissa in the godless of that person. He's margish, but that he's be'en arich mamish. That's b'chinas makif. Even though it's mer lachar, sure, so b'chilefei from b'chinas eratzmus, then subshlivin is. What's the mechuvan of this area? In vas para'ifin is meir? Is he meir lachar tzimtzum behesim with the kolam of Achar Tzimtzum, which is here mischashiv with vel, or is meir lefeifan etzem? So the b'chinas asay, even though he's meir lachar tzimtzum, but is meir lefeifan etzem. Yeah, that's the guy. God lachar tzimtzum b'chinas insof. It doesn't. It's not the insof which is nisamag. L'chenim b'chinas makav sevel v'adar le'elamis. Ki b'chinas pnimi yef shaliyas. Ki b'chinas makav. Es bevadish in bkhine erat es mamish in so stimmt der Zinzum kim khines gesehen schlevat mit kann ich nicht zum khines erat mit den sof so von der it's in other words it's the same mahus air it's the mahus of this air as a khan der etzem not be nice in makim tamitzis is as a khan der etzem kemay shu in gam khines azib va oder schon khines gesehen ist khines erat khines ein sof and khines is mail it's bottle it's mevatel the mitzis it's not the chilik is. I'm saying they're saying Savkos it's not. I'm just saying a dugma that the Indian the way it is be'etzem is shalei be'eretz the Indian the way it is meir in the Mekabel. I'm saying it's not good, but I'm saying the Maimer doesn't that's just a hesber a dugma that there's it's the same Indian, but the Indian the way it is ba'atzmusay is not nirgash in the Mekabel. Good, so that's but there's many dargis. There's many dargis in Seviv. And the way the makar of say the way it is the flat simsim. Many chiluk. Befin kloli it's the. Yeah, we'll see these pratim. This is the babanish. Yeah, that's the einzaf. What's the pratim? What's madabisi? This amshach b'chinas einzaf is first of all, what's the mechuvan of this amshach? The mechuvan of this amshach is what's the lashon that he says here? There's the etzem, and then there's the gilei of the eira etzem. So the mechuvan of this eira is that the etzem should be made. The etzem should be nirgash. Nothing to do with elamus. The etzem kamei should be made. The etzem kamei is ein sof. But shaz das meir is nirgash that everything's bein arech. Batla b'mtzias. That's one thing. Then he says amshacha beis is also amshacha from eira ein sof. This is not kelim. But it's b'chinas gvulamida. It's also that it's meir der etzem, but the etzem is here. It's not esgetaish, but in other places more esgetaish. That here the mechuven is also that it's the spashis v'gilei etzem, But the kavan of this is that the etzem should be meir in a way that the nivra should be mekabel there. That's the ufta of this The etzem zal meir sein nicht by being shelo. Nicht, but it should be meir invelt. That's the kavan of this area. The Eibishter is not. It's also Indian of air, and the kud of air is gili amor. But gili amor, their eifim be their moir zal meir sein should be in a way that the gvul should be able to be mekabel and be margish with pnimius this gil. Not in a way that the gvul should be in his battle. It's the fact he's able to be meir through gvul. Yeah, just remarking this because we're saying before there's a musik of kelim is gvul, and then he's saying over here is that there's the amshach kav, there's the ur which is nimshach in his gvul. It's two separate musagim. It's nicht zal bazar. So there's kelim is gvul, elukus of his gvul. Then there's what he's saying here that there's amshach of ein sof of his gvul amida. Kav. See what's in the zaken. See, I heard once from I think Mel Tzibel said this mashal that you say you have the mashal. You have different tnuas. You have chachme, chesed. You have ave. You have yira. You have kabbalah seil. You have someone that he's being masber the mile of kabbalah seil. You have someone being masber the mile of avos Hashem, masber the mile of yiras Hashem. See, so is that there's the tnu of kabbalah samach shemayim, the tnu of being koi for yourself. There's the tnu of avos, two separate tnuas. There's kabbalah samach shemayim. There's tnu of ave. Someone being masber the mile of avos Hashem, or being masber the mile of kabbalah samach shemayim. Does it have anything to do with the tnu of kabbalah samach shemayim? He's not. He's saying a svara. He's saying a hezber sichri. He's speaking a svara. A svara has to be malubish in a certain topic. You can't just speak about the. So what topics he's dealing with? He's dealing with kabbalah samach shemayim. That has nothing to do with the tnu of kabbalah seil. It's a tnu of seich. Say someone being masber the svara of the mile of avos Hashem, someone being masber the mile of yiras Hashem, the mile of kabbalah seil. It's not that the svara is he's now. It's not the tnu of kabbalah seil, the tnu of ave. It's seichel. But seichel is using different topics in order to say us. The point is it's a svara. It shows in what topic is the svara being discussed. I'm saying is you could have something which is malubish in the Indian of kabbalah seil, but has nothing to do with kabbalah seil. It's not the tune of kabbalah seil at all. When you say that Eid is b'chinas v'lomida and Kelim are gvul, Kelim is tzir, Kelim is chachma v'chesed, and it's milas mukbalis, keiches of chachma v'chesed. Eid is never chachma v'chesed. Eid is to be megadah that the Eibishter is ein saf, hulu v'adu yuve ein zolase, and that everything is bottled and tzir. The ufto of the hamshach b'chinas v'lomida is in what the shaila is in what language. In order to drive home the point that Elikus is hulu v'adu yuve ein zolase, that ein arech l'cha, that everything is nothing in the Gabi Eibishter. What language do you have to use? Do you have to be shelo vel? You have to make an S and break vel? Or you could use the musagam of vel to express that hulavadu yuvein zolase. When you say the kav is avshar b'chinas gvul amida, it's not that kav is gvul. Kav is ain't safe. Kav is gili amar. Kav is er. But the amshach of this er is in the pchin of gvul. He uses musagam of gvul to bring out that everything's that the Eibishter is ain't so. It's a different word. You say that seichel there's amshach b'chinas kabbalah seil. There's amshach b'chinas ave. It's seichel discussing kabbalah seil. It's not the tunu of kabbalah seil. It's seichel. It's a svara malubish in the Indian of kabbalah seil. So kelim is gvul. That's it. Kelim is gvul. Kelim would be the tunu of kabbalah seil itself. It's gvul. Kav is never gvul. Kav is that in Sof could express himself through using the language of gvul. It's never gvul. The Nikud of Eid is to bring out that the Eibishter is ein safe and blig gvul, not gvul. The question is, in order to express the fact that it's blig gvul, so is the only language you could use is bittul gvul, or you could explain that the Eibishter is ein safe. You could use chachma and not. So we're not eising now now the mile of chachma, and chachma is not a mile of chachma. We're using chachma just as a hechatimtze to explain that chachma is nothing. That the Eibishter is ain't safe. It's a different Indian. Good, that we're going to see later. That we're going to see later how it is. But I'm saying the good for Indian. I'm sure Shulchan Aruch is not Kelim. Kelim is Gvul. Kelim is that in Elikus there's a makkah for Metzias. There's a makkah for Keiches. You see in the Gabi the Nefesh, there's the Pshitas HaNefesh, which is higher than Keiches. I say the Ratzon HaNefesh, and then there is Keiches. You have Keich HaSeichel, Keich HaAve. So then you could use where we want to express Pshitas HaNefesh. The question is in order for this pshittas to be expressed, what language could you use the language of chachma v'chesed or not? So in the second, according to the second biur, in order for there to be nisgal in Welt, that the Eibusher is blik vol, is ein seif, you don't have to be shayla Welt. Even the world the way it is in its gather could also come to the recognition that there's a blik vol. Come to the recognition that there's a blik vol, that there's something which is higher than Welt, not gvol. So just to bring out this point, we say later in the Maimer, he says later that this, you see the Nivra himself is mugbal. The Payal, we see that there's a Nakud of Nitzchius in Welt. Chazakim became Ibarra. There's the end of Tmidius, Shemanagas Ateva. Now, Tmidius Shemanagas Ateva. The Blikvul and Gvul is the end of Rechzalazeh. A Nivra is a mugbal. Mitzad Gedra and Nivra, he should be a hefsek, there should be shinuyim. The fact that he's a davar Tmidi, there's a Nitzchius, the Nivra is not a keli for it, l'chora. It's not be'erech, the gvul of the nivra. Could you say it's be'erech? It's not be'erech. This is blikvul, this is gvul. But after the came, this thing, which is shalei be'erech, is not shelo the mitzias anu. It's a blikvul which is expressed in the fact that the nivra has a taken full timugvul. So you see that there's a tnu of blikvul, which is l'chora should be shelo the gather of the nivra, because the nivra himself is mugbul and he can't contain blikvul. And the blikvul is not expressed right by breaking it. The blikvul is expressed that the nivra has a takeif nitzchi. So that he said that's nimshach from the Indian of Kav. The Indian of Kav is that the blikvul can be nimshach and gvul. But what's it? Not that there's a blikvul which is an Adam Katan we're saying that there's a darga of pshittis which is be'erech gvul. He was saying the blikvul which is not be'erech gvul, but even though he's not be'erech, in order for him to be Meir and Welt, it doesn't have to be Meir only through being mevatel the mitzvahs of Welt. It can Meir then in gvul umid. That's the difference. That's the Hemshech HaMaimorim. It's to explain this. That's he's going to explain the Hemshech HaMaimorim. Exactly. We're here saying the Gufinian. What are these two? He's married. Let's get there. Wie Sheiches as sagt that Ein Sof should be nimshach in B'chinas Gvul Umida. So how could Seichel can't explain something which is not a musig? The reason why Seichel can speak the Ma'al of Kabbalah Seil because Kabbalah Seil is a musig in Seichel. Azach which is b'chamish together musik ain't sof. We can this masber sein in seichel musik von ain't sof. I'm saying good. That's after the gufeni. So Hemshech b'shechon gvul mida. Hainu b'chinas hakav achut anim shechon ain't sof. Shu Hemshech b'chinas gvul mida. So what's the mechuvan of this of the kav? It should be nimshach b'chinas gvul, and the matar of Hemshech hakav is liyes b'chinas pnimi ba'elam is. Sie sollen das verstehen mit Pnimis. Not to be Sheila the Mitzvah Elam is, not that it should be Meir Naifin. That the Gvul should be in his battle, as the Vern Ois, as the Bleiben and Zayn Gather from Gvul. And it's on the Siyashe Vern Beifin Pnimi, the Erakav. Pnimis Pnimi Be'elam is. She is Siyashe V'chinas Pnimis become this Spheres. She Efshe She Kabler She V'chinas Ein Sof. Ki'im Kasher Ba, what's Ba? Through the fact that the Eir HaBlikvul, the Eir Ein Sof, is Ba B'chinas Mido Gvul. So durch B'chinas Hakav, durch them, let's just keep the brackets for a second. Where is it? Where's that? There's not. Where's that? Okay, that's the Hemshech. Hemshech is going to B'chinas Hakav. Okay, the dot. Here's Galvul Chachma. Okay, so here already starts. Yeah, Sakapana, and then in the Agoy here he brings this. We have two shittas in Alter Rebbe. He didn't bring yet the other shit. He brings later Here he brings one beer. The Alter Rebbe says that the B'chinas Hakav is lechatchila Hemshech Ein Sof B'chinas Gvul. That's one beer of Kav. That the reason the shayrish of the fact that the Kav is mugbal, say it's a Kav echad kotzer. So the gvul of the kav is not mitzad the tzimtzum, because the chatchil of the kav is amshacha. It's the the way it's nimshach b'chinas gvul. So from where stems the gvul of the kav? Because chatchil is azam insert which is nimshach b'chinas gvul. Because the kavana, the matar of the kav is it should be meir in elamis b'chinas pnimis. So the kav no chatchil is b'chinas gvul. That's one beer that Alter Rebbe brings in Yevilah v'Shabbos. Then the Alter Rebbe brings a different beer that kav etzem is bli gvul. It's ein sof mamish. Punkt azevi the seviv it's ein sof. Sachakel, why is Erakav Mugbal? Because the Tzimtzum is Magbalit it's not that the Eira Kav is Hamshach Shulchan. Kav mitzad atzmi is bli gvul. And the fact that the Eira Kav is nimshach bei from Mukbel and Kelim, that's neveh mitzad the Keich HaGvul, mitzad the Tzimtzum, mitzad Gvura, not that the Eira Kav melchatchil is Eira Mukbel. Does Zok the Tzvei Biyurim, he's going to quote the second Biyur later in other Kiyakri. But here, he wants to explain. Didn't say it, no, he brings it later. He brings only with the first part. According to Alter Rebbe's second Biyur in the Vila Vishmalchus, Ein Sof is Ein Sof. The ganze Tzimtzum is Nevei mitzat Tzimtzum. The Hagbala of the Kav is Nevei mitzat Tzimtzum. But according to the first Biyur, the Alter Rebbe that he brings here, the Hagbala of the Kav is Nevei mitzat Gvul, mitzat the Kav Gufa. The Kav is the Chatchil Hamshach Shulchan Zebulun. So according to that Biyur, we can understand that Atzil is Gilei Helam Legabi Kav, and not Gilei Helam Legabi the Ein Sof. The Gabi, we'll see later the Pratim, but the Gabi, since Kav is the Chatchil Hamshach Shulchan Zebulun Mida, that Inyan is gathered through Atzilus, Masha'ik, and the Etzem Ha'er, the Atzmis Ha'er, which is Ein Sof, that Tekaz Yeshmayin. We'll see the Pratim in the Hemshech. Yeah, das sagt er doch. Kav Hamshach Shulchan Zebulun Mida. That's what he said. We read the first beer. That's right though. The second beer is Adam Kiyakov. The second beer, the Kav is Bligvul. I the Poil is Nimshach from Mukbul and Vel. That's Mitzad the Tzimtzum, which is Magbul the Kav, not Mitzad the Kav Gul. And the feed this beer, he wants to explain the Tivuch. He's going to say, but in the Agai he brings that this is the two we have in the Alter Rebbe's Amar when he gets to Eira Kav. In Vila Vishmalchus. In the Hagai, the Rebbe Shab connects it to another Machlekes HaMekubal. There's Machlekes HaMekubal between the Pardes and the Mareches, what does he bring here? But there's 2 days. We know that Kelim are Gvul. Chochmeh, Chesed, Gvul, Teferes. So there's a Shaila is, and the the way it's Mislabish in Kelim, so the is Misgala according to the Tzir of the Kelim. There's is Hamlubosh in Kelim. There's Mislabish Kelim Zeif and Pnimi. But there's Machlekes Kabbalah are the is Misadatzman Pshitis. The is are Pshitim. And the whole Tzir is all Mitzad the Kelim. That's one Shitta. And then there's another, that's the Shitta of the Rekanti. That the Eid himself is Pashut, and the whole Tzir comes inside the Kelim. And he brings a mashal of a Melech that he tells that the Melech tells the Avadim they should give Ashpa to the Anshe Medina. He tells one person you give a punishment to someone, and he tells someone else you give a chesed to someone. So the Melech himself doesn't do chesed to Gvor. The Melech himself is mufshit from the chesed to Gvor. He tells 2 sardim, one should do chesed, one should do Gvor. So there's the Eid is Pashut. He Kaviyachol just gives a tzivui to the Keli, that the Keli should be mashpia and even Chacham v'Chesed. That's the, according to one shit, the Eiris are pshutim, the Eiris are pshitis, are Ein Sof, and the Kelim is only, the Tzir is only the Ve'im Tzat Kelim. Then there's another shit, the shit of the Pardis, that the Eiris Guf are Mitziyah. So the Rebbe Hashem connects these 2 shittas to the 2 Biyurim in the Vila Vishmalchus. The shit that says that the Eiris are that the Tzir of Chacham v'Chesed, the Eir Gufa, is also Mitzir and Tzir. It's not the same Tzir as Kelim. Tzir of Kelim is Chacham v'Chesed. The Eir being, but the Tzir of the Eir is the way the Eir is Mitzir and Chacham v'Chesed. I said before, even though that's a Tzir of Eir, it's the way the Eir is Mitzir. It's not Tzir. It's the Pshittis which is that's Hamanech Hashem. The Eir is Mitzir. So that's the Hesem to the Alter Rebbe Nevi Luvush Malchus that the Kav is Hamshach Shulchan Zevulomida. So the inner Gvulomida starts with Eir itself. Mitzat Eir Gufa is Gvulomida, not the Hagbal of the Kav. It's not Neveh mitzad the Tzimtzum mitzad the Reshimu. Kav l'chatchila is Hamshach Shulchan Zebulun. So that's the Hesem to the Shitta that holds that Tzir isn't the Eiris mitzad Atzma. Their Gufa is Mitzir. The other Shitta that Alter Rebbe brings that the Kav is Bligvul and the Tzimtzum and the Hagbala the Kav is Neveh mitzad Tzimtzum. That's the Hesem to the Shitta that holds that the Eiris are Pshutim. And the whole Gvul is only Neveh mitzad the Kelim. Let's talk in the Segraim. He says he's saying the Yisod for the 2 Biyurim in the Alter Rebbe's Hammer, Vila Vishmalchus, Legabe Kav. It's the Alter Rebbe that Legabe Eira Kav, if it's Gvul or not Gvul. So he says, Yedua, Shesh Beis Deis V'Nin Ha'eres. That's Yedua and Kabbalah is 2 days V'Nin Ha'eres. And now here we're not dealing with Eira Kav, we're dealing with the Eiris HaMalabosh and Mekelim. So basically, so 2 days, 1 day is, we're not Alta, Shem Pshut Mamish. Ve'ein Shevim Cheshvan Chesed Kol. And that's brought out in the Maim Revelas Tamat Avos Samachtes. According to this beer in Kabbalah, Lefi Zeh HaKav, which is the Makar of Eir, which is the Makar of Eir HaMalabosh V'Keli, is also Hamshach Shulchan Bligvul Be'etzem. I lepoil the Kav is Mislabish. That's mitzad the Gvul, mitzad the Kav. Shenim that the Kav Guf is Bligvul Be'etzem. The Kav is Ein Sof. And the Kav is no Shaykhis the Gvul, according to this beer. Shenim that Apli Maimer Kav Amida Kamer Yum Shulchan Asar Han Lavas Lachas Akil the Chachma Kam Yishul Chenas Bina. This needs beer. What's the pshat? Han Lavas Lachas Akil the Kai Gav Numidas. Yeah, it doesn't understand. But the Kav himself, what is the Kav Bligvul? He has no Shaykhis the Tzir. there's the kav amida, amida sagvura, which is magbel, how much the kav is going to be nimshach in the kelim. Does that mean if the kav himself is blig vol amida, how's the shaykhs that the kav amida should be magbel? How much air should be nimshach? If it's blig vol, so blig vol is nimshach. There can't be chilukim in blig vol. There can't be here is nimshach more no hagbala and there is less no hagbala. No hagbala is no hagbala. In the level of you can say more or less. But shlilas, when there's no hagbala, so it's blig vol. It's blig vol. What's the pshat? That the kav himself is blig vol be'etzem, but the kav amida is made it. How much kav will be nimshach in every kid? That's the nekuda is that this is that's the second beer of it. That the eres are not that the eres are pshitim metachlis. This va beis sheberes atzmin is gam kines sfiris. The tzir hates sich sham in kedi. In gufa there's sfiris. There's tzir. And but it's not b'shave to the tzir of kelim. But in and that the market is the pardis. And mashkos b'day bilu v'shmalchus. That the kav is b'chinas gvul mida. That's according to the shita that holds that eres are mitziyarim. Or the eres have eses firis. And the mashkos b'du sharam irikanti. Ma'amer neira teira. And then but the lake too. That even that's what I was saying before. Even according to the shita that holds that the kav is b'chinas gvul mida. That there's eses firis in air. El sheses firis sheb air. B'chinas pshitis va'ayin. The kav eses firis sheb kelim. If he does so, kav amshar b'chinas gvul mida. That's what he says here. That according to this day, even though the sphere in air, but the tzir in air is pshitas the gabi the tzir of kelim. Like I was saying before, the svara which is speaking about the mile of Kabbalah Sa'il is not Kabbalah Sa'il. It's seichel. As no shaykhs the Kabbalah Sa'il. So al derech zeh legabi kli, the tzir of the air is pshitas. The tzir of keli is gvul mamish. The gabi the air, the tzir of the air is pshitas. It doesn't understand. We're just saying that's what he says here. Even though we're saying there's spheres in the air, but it's pshitas va'ayin legabe spheres shebikelim. But this the pilot says also that even according to the shita that holds that the air is pashut, it's not pashut b'tachlis. And even according to the shita, and then we say that even according to the shita that holds that air is mitzuyer, it's not a regular tzir. It's also pshitas. You have a Maimer 9b, it's not interessant zach. He says there that he wants to explain that he's being explaining this shita that there's spheres in the air gufa, the kav is chnas gulamida. So he says there, but it has nothing to do with the tzir of Caleb. So there he says al derech that you have seichel the neshama and you have the me'ach hagashmi. The me'ach hagashmi is a me'ach hagashmi. The payal it's a keli to seichel. The seichel to be mislabish in the me'ach. But there's no erech klal. This is the karvalach. The Siddur says the fact that the me'ach hachachim is karvalach, that makes it a keli to the seichel, to the keich ha-seichel shebenefesh. But not understand how exactly the karvalach of me'ach hachachim makes it a keli to the seichel ha-nefesh. But the payal, or since the leiv, this dam is the retir, is chveis slavus, the tichas adamim, so it's a keli to the histractus of the nefesh. But there's no erech klal between a physical heart or a physical me'ach to seichel sheben neshama, seichel sheben nefesh olakis. Even though it's both mizak beide devar seichel of them, but here or seichel anushi, there also seichel anushi, seichel alaki. It's shlei be'erach klal. But I'm not understanding. But it's the same tenuah. So what I'm saying is when you see God there's tzir and air, there's chacham v'chesed, but it's a whole different type of chacham v'chesed. So it's a whole different mechuvan in the chacham v'chesed. There's chacham v'chesed in yani is chachme, or chacham v'chesed it's. We want to bring out that hulavadi uve'enzolas. We want to bring out that chachma is garnished. In order to bring out the chachma is garnished, we're using the language of chachma. But in yani is not chachma. In yani is to bring out is ein sof. Eid is never a mucker for mitzias, for tzir. Eid is that the mucker should be nizgal, that the Eibishter should be nizgal. The Eibishter is lamikol ina midasiyu klal. But then I'm saying in Parsha, the tzir in the Eid is that the Eid is nirgash to the tzir. We'll see later in the Maimer more I'm saying, but the Nekudas Advarim is that Eid is never tzir. It's always that the pshitas ha'etzem should be nirgash. It's not like Ak. Ak was saying that Ak is the pshitas b'shteitin then that he's not mukbon a specific tzir. Here, the pshitas b'shteitin tzir, the pshitas is amidis ha'pshitas. The shal is the pshitas in order for it to be nesgale, in order for this emes to be nesgale, it doesn't have to be shelo gvul. He can be nesgale through gvul too, but it's not an akuda of an inyan which is the shaykhs the tzir. Well, we'll see later more the. So the Nakuda is, we didn't... Is that Mufay? Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah, yeah. The kav is bli gvul. It says that's what he's saying. That's trying to say in the Sigraim. Who's saved? It doesn't say that it's saved. Yeah. Bli gvul. That's bli gvul. That's Ein Sof Mamish. That's the Ershtam Shacha. That's Ein Sof Mamish. Yeah, isn't it? The Habez is the Hamshach from Zgulamida. Why over there? No, you're not understanding right. No, he says he brings the Maimer. There's two biurim in the Maimer, the B'china Verakav. Ein biur Dal Rebbe sagt that Ein Tzav has two Hamshachas. Ein Hamshach B'chinas Bli Gvul, which is the Sherish of Seviv, and the Hamshach B'chinas Gvul, which is Kav. Then Dal Rebbe says another biur that there's only one Hamshach from Ein Tzav. And so wie wird Kav Mugbo? Mitzat Kav and Mitzat Tzimtzum. The Ershte biur sagt that Mitzat Ein Tzav there's two Hamshachas. One Ein Tzav and one Kav. Is according to that biur. Is that yesh ma'ayin legabi the first hamshacha? No, yesh ma'ayin legabi the first hamshacha, and legvile helen legabi the gvul. Then there's another biur b'chla that there's only one hamshacha from Ein Sof, and kav is inside the gvul. Yeah. The two shittas that Rebbe explains kav. That Rebbe explains kav in two ways. Is kav a separate hamshacha from Ein Sof, or kav is the same hamshacha but just kav amid? And then that shaila is totally in the machlekes mekubalim if there's tzir in the air or not. That's the beer of Yeshmayin. That's what the Chmas was. What did we get? We get a bit weiter. Yeah, the paragraph. There's another. Okay, with the first line we can start. V'reish is gilei akav u'b'chachma. Means David is after on zog, and that's gilei helav and ayesh ma'ayin. So the zog that the reish is gilei akav u'b'chachma. Means in chsfiras hachachma that silis is not only megale. Elokus is be'erech. The milas of chachma, the chachma wird nisgale the air ain't sof. V'hainish b'chinas keach was the chachma shel b'chinas ha'er u'me'akav. The air hachma is from the kav. According to this beer, Eir HaChacham comes from the Kav. So even mitzad Eir there's Gvul Amida. So what's the Keli? The Keli is, what he attaches here is Klei HaChacham of Gil is B'chinas Yesh. Means the fact that Chachma is an Indian for itself, that's B'dugmas B'chinas Yesh. It doesn't mean Yesh Mamash like an Ibra. Means the etzem Indian of Tzir you have mitzad Eir. But Tzir, the way it is in Eir, in Yoni of Tzir is that the Ein Sof Gibin is Gal in Tzir. The Tzir is bottle. It's niggish netzir that it's batul legabi lukus. It's a chakal. The Eibushter is not mugbal, and the fact that he's Ein Sof, even Chachma could you can even explain that he's Ein Sof. But being masber Chachma nishkin inyan nishkin ma'ila. The fact that Chachma is garnished is can meir zan Chachma as Chachma is garnished. But not that Chachma is an inyan. The ufta of what's klei Chachma lefizeh? Klei Chachma is the Chachma is a ma'ila. That's B'chinas Yesh. The Chachma is an inyan. Chachma is a ma'ila. And in the Maimer Lake Tzuda, that the fact that Chachma is a Maila, that's Mushesh Mitzad Ein Sof, Mitzad Makif, Mitzad Ein Sof, Mitzad Seivim. Higher than the Makar of Gilei Helam. According to this word, the Yesh Ma'ayin, the fact that it tells us Yesh Ma'ayin, means I'm saying wrong. The fact that the Keli, which is B'chinas Yesh, has a higher shadish in the air, which is Gilei Akav. The air is Megala the Eir Akav. Masha'ik the Mitzias of the Keli, the Chachma, the Inyan HaChachma of the Keli, that's Mushish and Ein Sof and Sev. In the Abshach of B'chinas Ein Sof. Versteht the Minyan? Let's just see the Lashon here. It says, Nishas, Keach Mos HaChachma, the Hein of B'chinas is Nikra Yeshmai. Ein Nikra Yeshmai. Dafke B'chinas HaKeli, Zer Shab B'chinas Yeshmai. What's a Yeshmai? Means the Keli, we're going to say later that there's a Nakud of Yeshmai even in Eir. That's he's not speaking about over here. Legabi the Hamshacha Rishayna, even the Eir is Yeshmai. It's only Gilei Helam Legabi Akav. Legabi the Hamshacha B'chinas Ein Sof, even the Eir is Yeshmai. Vaz Dr. Da that the Keli is B'chinas Yesh. He doesn't mean Yeshmai and Legabi. He means that the Keli is a B'chin of Yesh. It's the Indian of Mitzias. It's the Indian of that there's a Chshivas in Chachma. That's what it means here. Not that it's Ve'ein Arech Tetzmak. The Rekud of Ein Arech that you have in Eir is also Ein Arech. Because the guy with the B'chinas is of the Eir is Ein Arech. What he means here that B'chinas Yesh is that there's a Nakud of Metzias in Keli. And this Nakud he says V'zavusame is Meir Nesav Asir. Avol Ha'ershin Hemshech Enu Chesed Shmayim. We can't, but just look in the next. It says, he says clearly. He's speaking three nonim. He's saying the air legabe kav is gilei helen, legabe ein sof is yeshmayim. What's yeshmayim in erech? There's no erech between the air and the slavish by kelim. Legabe damshach legabe ein sof legabe damshach b'chinas ein sof. Then there is kelim. Keli is a mitzias. Keli is an Indian, and that b'chinas yesh not only in arech. There's a certain chshivus in the Indian of chachma v'chesed, and that the sherish is in so asay v'kolam. I like the tzunach havart. He didn't discuss it all the time. Mefurish. I like the tzunach hazak. Speaking about that tzilus, the yachas of tzilus, the gavi huh? You understand what I'm saying? No, it's a lower darge b'chitzein. It's a primis. It's mushish and say. The sherish is higher than erekav. The Sheresh Shekelim, why does he bring it? It doesn't understand, but I'm saying, this is not what he's speaking about the whole time. Gantzet side, yeah, that's what it was. He adding over here that Kelim is according to what the Pashas is saying. Once you say that there's tzir in the air, if there's no tzir in the air, we understand why you need Kelim. If you magbo the air, but if the air guf is erach chesed and in Yoni is I'm sure it's gulamide, what do you need Kelim for? So that's he says Kelim is b'chinas yesh. Once while you're at it. So you say that the shadish of Kalim is b'chinas ein sof. Give it that's the from Meir, but I'm saying that's the. Let's finish they push the Aisius. Avol ha'er shenim shach. Eini b'chinas yeshmayim. It's gilei helen from the Erekab. And then he says, now this next line is coming to explain everything. The same he said when he gave to Adam Kadmon. That when he says that says that Adam Len Adam Kadmon, he doesn't only say it says Adam Len Adam Kadmon, but we explain why the Adam Kadmon is Elyon. You have to explain. You say it's Adam Len Elyon, so there's a certain yichus that it says. So what's the yichus of it? If Erakav is Amshach Shabchanas Gulamida, what's the grace of Maile that Atzilus is B'Doim to Erakav? It's not Eitzav. It's Amshach Shabchanas Gulamida. So Va'Kav Hariyanim Shabchanas Ein Sof She'er Mein Amar. That's what he says over here. The Kavi the Nimshach wants to be established. That the air is that Atzilus. Arek Hagil Elam Erakav Heftan Redna Kavi the Nimshach M'Chinas Ein Sof. And it's air, and air is Mein Amar. It means air is the Gilei Ein Sof, nicht the Besandish. B'meila b'chenik b'chinas chacham that Atzilus b'shem Adam Elyon, because tak Adam Elyon, because Kav is Ein Sof. That's Mein Amar. But there's no parsa. That's the second thing that he says. One of the between, if it's Gilei Helam, is that there's no parsa or no silik between. So those are da. Where the ribi ishtashlos the kamat tzimtzum b'chinas miut, but not parsa and not enough silik. And we can't get Hachodesh mine because it's tzimtzum b'derech miut. Legabe and stuff. That's what you say in the next paragraph. Okay, which prat? Kalim. The Kenes Azam, I'm saying, but it's not negate to call Hemshech Maimer. The Pashtus. I'm saying that. We could go through that and finish the Maimer. So we'll finish the Maimer. Say this. We'll finish the Maimer Sunday. So we'll finish the Maimer Sunday, and then maybe it's Kedai also if you're learning this Maimer. Maybe it's Kedai to look at the Sikh and Tazriya Chelik Yitzayim. Tazriya Hachodesh. Maybe some prat. Can say, but not more than Sunday, because if you could do next week until Va'ininu or to Acheninu. Okay, darf minds and freer in them. Let me see. You darf minds and freer in them. Tomorrow's Thursday. You asked me Thursday. No, Thursday's too late. Wednesday. Is that Wednesday? Well, okay. You asked me Wednesday night. I have to look it up. I don't want to stand still before. But this, we'll try to finish next week. The full Indian, the new Indian starts after Indian. Starts a new Indian. So a new Indian. We're going to go back to this Indian, but this is the Gemara of Indian. Tilach Indian was the Gemara from the Indian. Then I have to